Hey there, how are you doing tonight? I'm Kim Hostetter with Crafting with Kim, and this is actually day 2 of my Mud.Clay.Art Everyday Live promo. I'm promoting my membership group, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Tonight, I promise you, I'm going to be working with clay, but we're going to do a quickie, a real quickie project that is. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okie dokie. You can see here that I've got my other screen pulled up. And what we're going to be doing is working with polymer clay, which is what I do these days, is do a lot of stuff with clay. And we're going to be making a cell phone holder. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch my screen for a second so I can get it a little bit full screen. All right, so right here, this is a cell phone holder. It looks a little funky wonky, but believe it or not, it does work really well. And this was just my little experiment one here that I've used for home, but I do use it for my phone actually. And I'll show you that in a second. I'm gonna switch back to the screen now. And like I said, this is a quick tutorial. It's not gonna take much time, but anybody knows me knows that I'm actually working on a membership now. I'm doing a private membership group called Mud.Clay.Art on Facebook, and I'm doing a launch this week, so I'm doing these lives every single day. But anyway, back to this for a second. I want to adjust my camera here, and I'll show you how this little guy sits on here. Okay, it's literally a cell phone holder. I find this to be very helpful when I'm in the kitchen or just somewhere, even when I'm in the bathroom, like I'm getting ready or whatever, and I need something kind of hands-free. I know there's lots of cell phone holders out there on the market, but this is kind of unique because, number one, you make it with your own hands and you can customize it color-wise and whatever you want to do with it. So, yeah, so it's a cool cell phone holder. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this aside with my cell phone, and I'm going to show you how we make this little holder. All right, so I'm going to switch over here because you don't need to see me so much. We'll put the big screen up. Okay, well, that's the wrong one. Get it right, Kim. There we go. That's the one we need. Now, don't mind this circle here. I just put this here because I'm using glass, and my ring lights create a glare, and I know it's a little bit annoying on the eyes. So that's really serves no purpose right now. But what you do need to be concerned about is over here, okay? This is actually the clay that we're going to be using. For those that aren't familiar with polymer clay, then I'm going to tell you just briefly what it's about. By the way, if you are coming on tonight, and as you pop on, I'd really appreciate you say hi. Give me a little heads up, give me some shares and loves, and let everybody know what I'm doing with this clay site, because I'm really trying to get this thing built up. I've got this launch going, like I said, till August 15th. And I'm only going to offer this membership price, which is $15 to join, only one time. So at that price. And once I close the doors, I'll close the doors for probably about 6 months. And then you won't be able to get at that price ever again until I open the doors. All right. So anyway, back to the clay. Like I said, I'm trying to make this quick because I know it's a little late and I know people want to, you know, not have to watch something that's going to take forever. No sense. But this is actually, like I said, really kind of cool and different. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. I have taken this clay. Now, what I would suggest using polymer clay was I use Sculpey mainly, but I use this particular one for this project, the Super Sculpey. It is really firm, like it's really, it's a lot harder and not as pliable as some of your other ones. But for this project, I want it to be really firm, even though most of them, when they bake up, they're pretty darn strong anyway. But just to be on the safe side, because you're holding up a cell phone, and mine's got all kinds of goodies on it in the back and everything, so I wanted it to be durable. So that's why I'm using this Super Sculpey, because it's firmer than the other clays. And we will be baking this in the oven. Okay, so back to the lesson. So what I've done is I've pre-rolled out my my clay. And let's see, what I do with these, actually I usually turn it around this way, no big deal though, is I've got a couple rulers here. This is kind of like my guide when I roll. Sometimes I want things a little thicker, and if I do, I have some paint sticks, like the big fat paint sticks that I use instead, or a couple other things that I can use for whatever thickness. But this is an okay thickness for what we're doing with this cell phone holder. And then, like I said, I take a, what do I do with my rolling pin? I got it over there. I just take a rolling pin and I roll this out and I get it, like I said, to the consistency that I want. And then if you need to clean up the top of it a little bit, you can get a mud tool. It's actually called a mud tools, and it's just like a little scraper. But if you're in a pinch and you don't want to go there, it's only $8, but you can get this at the Dollar Tree, and you can use this in a similar fashion. It just kind of takes some of the little burrs and the areas off, and it makes it a little bit cleaner. All right. So like I said, I've gone ahead and rolled this out and got it ready. Now this is my little pattern for the cell phone holder, and it will go on here, and I'm going to cut it out. But before I do that, I wanted to add something really kind of different on there. You can see this one, and like I said, this was a lesson learned. There's a couple little idiosyncrasies on here, and I can explain why. It's because I pre-painted it before I baked it, which you can usually do, but when I bent it over, it kind of got some cracks in it. So I would not recommend you doing that. You can paint it afterwards. But also I put the stencil on there, and I pre-painted the stencil on beforehand too. So I did a base coat and then put the stencil on. Now, in this particular case, I've got this clay here that is beige color. If a person wanted to, they could just keep it the beige color and then put a stencil on top and then color the stencil that color. But here's what you do to add the stencil. Now that I've got this, I don't really need these. I've got my thickness that I want. I can move those out of the way. All right, so I've just got this. Obviously, you can tell I've used this a little bit. I'm going to put this stencil down over the area. Now, you might be wondering why I don't cut this out first and then put the stencil on, is because when you start, you're going to have to put some pressure on here and start rolling this. I'm going to use my little brayer roller. And when you start rolling on it, it causes it to kind of like stretch a little bit and kind of spread out. So instead of cutting it out, cutting the shape out before I roll and then having it go a little bit wonky, it's not bad. It's better just to do this, and then we're going to cut it out after that. So, okay, like I said, I just found some sort of all-over pattern. You don't have to put a pattern on it, but if you wanted to, there's all sorts of things you can use. You can use lace. You can use buttons, stamps. Doesn't have to be a stencil. I mean, anything, even pasta looks really cool. You can use all kinds of little hardware tools. It's cool just to experiment with different things that you might have around the house that you can press into your clay and make some really cool impressions on it. All right, so this is a very firm clay, like I said. So I'm putting a little muscle into this to get it in there, because I definitely want it to stand up nice. And like I said, not all of this is going to be cut out, but I did get a pretty decent impression there. Yeah, look at that puppy. Okay, so let me see if you guys can see that or not. I can actually lift it up so you can get a better idea of it. I think I can lift it up. It's not gonna, usually I use my silicone mat, and I forgot to put the darn thing down right now, but you can see how the pattern came up like that. Actually, there's a couple of areas here that didn't come up so hot. Let me see if I can go back. When you're doing a painting with a stencil, it's kind of difficult to do this, but on a clay, a lot of times, no, this one's too all over. I can't do it. That's going to be rolled up anyway, so we really won't see that much. Okay, so once we go ahead and put our pattern on there, then we're going to want to cut out the cell phone pattern. Okay, cell phone stencil itself. So I'm kind of going over to this side because I've got a little bit of a tear here, and it's a little cleaner on this edge. So you can either use, if you've got a nice smooth surface, a table that you don't worry about getting cut up, you can use an X-Acto knife or a sharp knife that you have home to cut this up. You can also use, a lot of times when I'm using my silicone mat, I don't want to cut it, so I use the back of a butter knife. Okay, it works really good too. Since I'm on the glass, I'm going to go ahead and use this and get a nice sharp line. And all I'm doing is just cutting this out. So yeah, like I said, I'm going live every day this week. And I am showing people various projects and various things that you can do with this clay and how fun and versatile it is. It really is. And like I said, not even thinking about just the versatility of it, and how you can integrate it into your creative world. But, you can do some really fun things and make gifts too if you want. And it'll be, like I said, a personalized gift from you. Clay is something that you can integrate into your art. If you are an artist, it's really great to have clay experience, or be able to do some clay projects to add into your mixed media. You can also, well, I kind of went off there on that one, didn't I? You can also, like I said, make some really cool functional things for your home. And like I said, just some really fun, whimsical things as well. You can make it a 3D kind of impression on canvas. Just all kinds of cool stuff. I'll show you some stuff I got behind me after we're done. Oh, by the way, before I forget too much, before I take this off, I am doing my live tomorrow. It'll be at 6:30, and I'm going to be showing you how to make this cool little bowl. This is a coil bowl, and the coloring and how to age it down. It turned out really nice. So you'll see that tomorrow if you hang tight and watch me tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so let's see. Look, I got one person on here. No comments yet that I can see. By the way, in my comments section, if you look at the very top, you will see that I've put the link to my Mud.Clay.Art membership. And that will take you to give you some information. And if you want to sign up for that, you can always text me or private message me and find out more about that as well. What the group's about, what we're going to be doing. But we're going to be doing a lot of monthly projects, and we'll be doing membership choice projects. We'll be doing prize giveaways, challenges. I've got a lot of really cool stuff in store for you. All right, so like I said, it's just going to be a really, really fun opportunity to learn how to make clay, and it's beginner and intermediate. So if you've never worked with clay, don't worry. I'm going to walk you step by step like I'm doing here. Like I said, I'm kind of taking some shortcuts tonight because of the time frame, but when we go into the class, I would definitely be a little slower and walk you through and make sure everybody knows what they're doing, because I'm going to be teaching online, and I can probably go in through Zoom so I can talk to everybody and see them face to face. All right, so, okay, cell phone holder. So, okay, what you do now, get the Sculpey out of here, is you need to get your back on it. Now, I know every cell phone is different, so they're going to play out a little differently as far as how you fold them. Okay, but definitely want to get a good size back on there. Okay, you can see that. I've just kind of folded it up a little bit. Now, I created a little curve on the back of this. You can actually make it really decorative. I'm just going to get a little funky right here, just for the heck of it. If a person wanted to, they could press a little extra bump in there and make it kind of cute. Okay, and I just wish I would have done that to mine, because I like that idea. But yeah, you can dress it up any way you want. There's all kinds of zillion ways that you can do it. But the basic design of this to hold your cell phone is you put a big fold in it like that. As a matter of fact, I've got this handy dandy dowel, which I would suggest using when you bake it, because it will hold, the shape's going to pretty much stay. This is really firm and it kind of holds itself, but just to be on the safe side, you can stick this little dowel underneath here. Actually, I've got this one raised a little bit more, but I got this as a long dowel at Walmart in the craft section. I cut these down, but like I said, I could put it in there and actually go down this far to hold it, but I'm going to keep it up high because you want to have a high back in case it just kind of gives it extra support on the back end. Now for the front, what we're going to do is you want to have, it's nice to have, you can roll it like this, but you're really not going to see the pattern on there. Like if you just did a simple roll like that, it's okay. And you could actually put a little something else on there. Like I'm thinking about it, that you could put like some little dots or another type of pattern and literally just roll it up like that. Or if you want to show the same pattern that's already on here, you can do it this way. You do like a kind of a fold this way, sort of like reverse rolling it in a way. Okay, so I'm going to kind of get it a little bit tight, and then I'm going to roll it over like this. It's kind of like a double roll, and it does show the pattern a little bit, but not too much. Actually, I could probably do it a little bit more because you don't need that much space for your cell phone. Okay, so you do need to, I would make sure that you have your cell phone handy so you can kind of see, because everybody's cell phone and their cases are a little different. So you can kind of just actually play with it and see if your cell phone will sit in there. Now, this is not dry yet, so it's, you know, I mean, it's not baked yet, so it's soft, so it's not really going to hold the phone, but you could do it like that and sit it in there and just kind of see, yeah, you know what, that's going to work. As soon as that dries up, that'll be nice. If you want it to sit up a little straighter, or you can make it lay down a little bit more, ever how you want it, and that's what you play with. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, you do a double roll, which I folded it in and out, or you can just simply roll it up. And, you know, just for the sake of doing something fun, let's go ahead and do that. Let's put some impressions on here. Since the impression doesn't really show that much. For this side, we can just add something kind of cool to it, just to make it look a little bit fun. Now, here's the deal. If a person wanted to, which I did not do to this one simply because I'm not going to bake this and make another one. This is just, I'm doing this for promo purposes to show a sample. But if I was to have baked this, I would have left that stencil on, and I would have actually painted a color of the stencil. As I did here, I just did a little silver. This is, like I said, my little experiment. And you could paint the stencil color and pull it off, and then just have the beige as your background color. If you didn't want to do it that way, then you can just wait till this is all dried, and then you can paint it whatever color you want to paint it. So a lot of cool colors that you can do with that. And that's pretty much it, guys. Now, here's the deal. You should actually, oh, hey, Nagath, how you doing? Oh, my God, I can't believe you're actually watching me. Yeah, I'm doing this live teaching. I'm teaching people how to make a cell phone holder out of clay. It's so good to hear from you. I'll see you on here. All right, so like I said, once you get this on here and you get it made, you still need to transfer it to a baking dish, usually like a cookie sheet. And this one actually lifts up pretty easy. If you have it on a silicone sheet, I didn't put it down there, but I'll show you. Even if it gets a little funky wonky, you can just pick it up and kind of reshape it. But you would just pick this up, put it on your cookie sheet. But the best thing to do is to actually have a piece of aluminum foil underneath it. And there you can just lift the whole thing up and place it on your cookie sheet. And then you just bake it from there. And you can actually, if you wanted to leave the dowel in there, it's not going to burn. You can actually bake the dowel as well. But honestly, in this case, it's not serving too much purpose. You could not even really need it. So, you know, here or there, either way. But that's it. I mean, you just do that. And then, like I said, once it's dry, you can paint it up any color you want and pop your cell phone on there. And you'll have your nice cell phone holder. Okay, just like that. Okay, it's pretty cool. Does anybody have any questions? Like I said, I'm not going to bake this one and paint it. I've just basically showed you how you can form it out and make it, because once you bake it, it just hardens up like all the other ones do. And then you can just paint it any kind of color you want with your acrylic paints. I've got a lot of other teachings with the clay and the painting. So if you want to refer to some of those on my YouTube page or my Facebook, or get with me privately, I'd be more than happy to do that. Okay, now I'm going to switch over my screen here again. And let's see, where am I at? There I am. Okay, there I am. Okay, so like I said, I'm glad you popped in. And if you would just take a minute to go to my YouTube page. Actually, I'm going to switch the screen over here because it's better. Go to my YouTube page and subscribe to that for me, Crafting with Kim, Crafting with a K. And then also give me on Facebook, give me some comments, do some shares, let people know what I'm doing. Join my membership. Literally, like I said, click the link on the top in the comments and check it out. It's only $15, guys. $15 to get you in the door, and we're going to have all kinds of really, really cool stuff going on. So I appreciate you popping on, and I told you it was going to be a quickie. I hope everybody has a nice evening, and I will see you tomorrow. We'll be making the little bowl here, bowl, 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 this cute little coil bowl. All right, nighty night.